Urgent! Steelers fan! Look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest your team news. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Pittsburgh Steelers new star player reacts to team's first-round pick. I'm loving it. Darius Slay loves the Pittsburgh Steelers pick of Derek Harmon. Joining Micah Parsons' live stream on Bleacher Report to watch the NFL draft, when the Steelers picked Harmon, Slay, a six-time Pro Bowler, was visibly excited to play with someone like Harmon, who has a sky-high pedigree. "It makes sense, man." Slay said, "I'm loving it, man, to give my boy Cam Hayward a break. Just watching them from afar, we played Pittsburgh last year. That was a whole part of the game plan. And just watching Cam, he's going to teach the hell out of him." Slay played with the Philadelphia Eagles a year ago, and the team pounded the rock with Saquon Barkley while the Steelers' run defense held up. They were torched on the back end when Hayward had to come out for a breather. Harmon projects to play the same position as Hayward as a base end, and will take over for Larry Ogunjobi on the other side of Hayward. Keanu Benton should end up slotting in at nose tackle in base, but will primarily play as a 3 technique, with pass rush upside in the team's sub-packages. Adding in the team's signings this offseason and other players they have, Montravius Adams and Daniel Ekwale should join those 3 in the room. Pittsburgh will then hope for DeMarvin Leal, Logan Lee, Dean Lowry, or another player to emerge this summer and make the roster. Pausing this news just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest, the black and gold news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now let's get back to the news. Pittsburgh Steelers passing. On Shedeur Sanders opens door for Kirk Cousins trade, we know the Pittsburgh Steelers are waiting on a decision from Aaron Rodgers, and we also know the team will be in a really bad spot if he doesn't sign. That's because the Steelers don't have a starting caliber quarterback on their roster. The only signal callers under contract in Pittsburgh are Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson, neither of whom are starters in the NFL. The Steelers had a chance to give themselves another starting option in 2025 when the team had Colorado's Shedeur Sanders and Ole Miss Jackson Dart both on the board at number 21 overall, but the team opted to take Oregon defensive lineman Derek Harmon instead. But with that decision, a trade for Atlanta Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins becomes more likely. Ahead of the draft, The Athletic's Diana Rossini reported that the Steelers were one of the teams that could get involved with Cousins. However, she also added that Cousins, who has a not-raid clause, may not be keen on joining a team that drafts a young quarterback, considering what happened with the Falcons in 2024 when he was benched for Michael Penix Jr. due to poor play. The Browns, Steelers, and possibly Vikings could be involved in a Cousins trade, she wrote. Minnesota is looked at as the least likely scenario given its preference for J.J. McCarthy and that Cousins would need to sign off on any trade he is involved in. It's believed that Cousins would be against any trade that involves sending him to a situation involving a young QB, similar to the situation he faced in Atlanta last year. If a trade were to happen, he'd expect it to go down on Saturday. While the Steelers could still take a quarterback over the next few days, they don't have a second-round pick, and the chances of them landing an immediate starter become more slim the longer they wait. That could make Pittsburgh much more appealing to Cousins than the team would have been had it drafted a quarterback in round 1. Cousins is less likely to feel threatened by a mid-round quarterback. Cousins isn't exactly an inspiring option, though, as coming off a terrible season and lacks the mobility the Steelers are looking for in their next starter. However, he remains a better option than both Rudolph and Thompson, and at the very least he'd offer strong competition. The Steelers absolutely need to wait things out with Rodgers, seeing as how he's the best option the team has to truly compete in 2025. But if that fails, Cousins would be a worthwhile addition for Pittsburgh. NFL insider Steelers know the outcome of Aaron Rodgers' decision. The Pittsburgh Steelers reportedly know what Aaron Rodgers' decision is. The Pittsburgh Steelers were the team everyone had their eyes on in the second half of the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft. Once the New Orleans Saints didn't draft Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders, the Steelers were the team everyone circled as being on Shedeur watch. However, the Steelers passed on Sanders and selected defensive tackle Derek Harmon. Shortly after, NFL insider Josina Anderson reported that the Steelers spoke with Aaron Rodgers ahead of the NFL draft and gave him a soft deadline to make his choice. Im told the Steelers communicated with Aaron Rodgers at the beginning of the week that they would like to receive an answer from him before the draft at least 48 hours per league source, Anderson said on X. The Steelers know the outcome of that conversation. Considering the Steelers didn't take a quarterback, many believe that they know Rodgers is coming to Pittsburgh, even if he or they have made the official announcement yet. Pittsburgh Steelers send clear message to the idea of drafting Shedeur. Sanders got the player that we wanted. The Pittsburgh Steelers were not going to draft Shedeur Sanders, and general manager Omar Khan made that clear in their post-first-round pick press conference. Derek Harmon was the player the Steelers wanted from the outset. When asked why the team passed on Sanders, Khan gave a simple answer. "We were on the clock and we got the player that we wanted," he said. The Steelers had long been linked to both Harmon and Sanders. Both players came to Pittsburgh for a pre-draft visit, and head coach Mike Tomlin praised Sanders' intangibles coming out of their meeting with him. It was a normal pre-draft visit to spend time with a young man, to talk ball, to get to know him as an individual, to get to see how he processes and sees the game, and how he articulates his football experience. From that standpoint, it was a very normal visit and a very productive one. Did anything stand out in that meeting about him that maybe you didn't see coming or didn't know? I think the things that stood out were evident in his video. There's a toughness there that doesn't get talked about enough. There's a competitive spirit there that doesn't get talked about enough. I know he's very talented and has made a lot of plays for his university and his team. But the intangible qualities displayed on tape were impressive to me, Tomlin said. Harmon, on the other hand, has been of interest to the Steelers since the NFL Combine. They had him on their radar the entire time, and he now slots in as a starter across from Cam Hayward on the defensive line. Harmon has been called the next Cam Hayward at times in the NFL draft process. After a great day of testing at the NFL Combine, those comparisons only ratcheted up. In Indianapolis, Harmon stood at 6'4", weighing in at 313 pounds. Harmon ran a 4.95 40-yard dash with a 1.74 10-yard split, both great numbers for his size. It will be a decision looked back upon if Sanders ends up becoming a good quarterback in the NFL. However, Pittsburgh did not want to take a quarterback unless they loved that player, and it seems they only liked Sanders. Injury revealed for Steelers' first-round pick, Derek Harmon, Pittsburgh. Steelers' first-round pick, Derek Harmon, had a shoulder injury that teams flagged him for throughout the pre-draft process. The Steelers were not a team that was overly concerned, but sources tell PennLive that it was serious enough for some teams to remove him from their draft boards entirely. The issue? According to Adam Crowley of 93, 7 The fan Harmon has a labrum issue. Sources expanded to PennLive, stating it was a torn labrum and a partially torn rotator cuff. Eventually, those injuries may require surgery, but most players can play through them. Harmon has not missed a game in his final 3 collegiate seasons. The Steelers examined Harmon at their facility during his pre-draft visit, and head coach Mike Tomlin stated that they were not concerned about it. We had him in at a pre-draft 30 visit and had an opportunity to get our documents, him in front of our docs, and we were extremely comfortable with that component, Tomlin said. Harmon has been called the next Cam Hayward at times in the NFL draft process. After a great day of testing at the NFL Combine, those comparisons only ratcheted up. In Indianapolis, Harmon stood at 6'4", weighing in at 313 pounds. Harmon ran a 4.95 40-yard dash with a 1.74 10-yard split, both great numbers for his size. He said that he is not too concerned about his shoulder issue and is raring to go. "I don't know, man. I'm fully up and ready to go. I don't have any concerns. I'm ready to get to work." Harmon said Harmon will be a starting defensive end in the team's base package and should rotate with Hayward and Keanu Benton in their sub-packages. Former NFL GM rips Pittsburgh for passing on QB don't understand what the Steelers are doing. With Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders sitting on the board at no 21 overall, the Pittsburgh Steelers found themselves in a great position. Thursday night in the first round, land the potential franchise quarterback they've been searching for, or address the defensive line further and build through the trenches. The Steelers ultimately opted for the latter, selecting Oregon defensive lineman Derek Harmon Thursday night, pairing him with Cameron Hayward and Keanu Benton moving forward. the Steelers landed a great player, one they coveted throughout the process. Yet despite knowing that, the Steelers are being ripped to shreds by the media Friday morning. ESPN's Mike Tannenbaum, a former NFL GM with the New York Jets, questioned the Steelers' plan at quarterback after passing on Sanders during an appearance on ESPN's Get Up Friday. Morning, I don't understand what the Steelers are doing from this standpoint. Russell Wilson and Justin Fields leave. They give up $30 million a year and a second-round pick for DK Metcalf. Who's going to be throwing the ball? Tannenbaum said, according to video via ESPN. Is it Mason Rudolph? Maybe they have a handshake deal with Aaron Rodgers. Maybe they feel good about Kirk Cousins after the draft, but with no second-round pick. I don't know who their quarterback's going to be on opening day. The decision to pass on Sanders was a bit puzzling initially, considering the need at the quarterback position and the amount of buzz there was regarding the Colorado star. But in the end, the Steelers landed a better player in Harmon, one they've had their eye on the entire process. That said, the passing on Sanders raises some questions about the Steelers' plan at quarterback. Will it be Aaron Rodgers? Could they pivot to Kirk Cousins after the draft and swing a trade for him? What about Sam Howell? According to NFL insider Josina Anderson, the Steelers asked Rodgers for an answer 48 hours before the draft, and while she didn't report if one ever came, it seems like Rodgers will be their quarterback in 2025. Until he signs the contract, though, one that's been on the table for more than a month, nothing is guaranteed. It's just strange that the Steelers are getting hammered for passing on Sanders. The entire league did. There were some concerns with Sanders on the field and concerns with the attention that comes with him off the field. It probably scared off some teams. It's understandable, but it's not a Steelers-only problem. They have more questions than answers at QB right now, which is concerning. But there are still 2 more days in the draft to try and address the position with some of the names they've done quite a bit of work on, and there are still some avenues outside of the draft to address the position too. Taking a guy that the entire league clearly didn't see as a first-round talent at quarterback wasn't going to solve the Steelers' QB issues. Recommended for you and now, Steelers fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for the black and gold. It'll be back any moment with more Steeler Nation news. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.